All right. And doing a decriminalization versus legalization.
Okay, so I actually get this question a lot, and they're very, very different models. A lot of people say legalization as if it's preferred, but what most full service workers actually prefer is a decrim model and a full decrim model because it removes criminal penalties for doing this type of work. But more importantly, it's different from legalization in the sense that it gives workers more freedom, right? So the biggest problem with the legalization models is that you're still criminalized if you aren't able to work within the legal confines. So it's kind of like whatever your local, state, or federal government imposes as to what those restrictions are. But if you're working outside of those, you're still criminalized. So it's going to leave the most vulnerable people still behind because they aren't going to be able to afford things like licensing fees, or they're not going to get hired at brothels. It could be because they can't afford to live within a red light district where it's the only place that's legal to work, right? We've seen that happen with other places that have legal models. Some places won't hire you if you have a criminal record or an arrest record. So essentially people are still going to be working, but outside the legal confines, and that's really what we're trying to avoid, and that's why we push for a full decrim model as opposed to a legalization model. And also then, because you're not running the risk of working illegally as a full service worker, it also makes it easier if you wanted to report if someone did something to you, if you were abused by a client, if you were being harassed or stalked. That's something that happens sometimes. You know, you have more freedom to speak publicly because you're not at risk of being criminalized. And even in under other certain legal models, we still run into sort of adjacent problems in situations, right? So maybe you're at risk of having your children taken away because of the type of work you do. You're at risk of being fired if you also have a straight job, right? We've seen that, like people who have an OnlyFans and they work as like a teacher, right? They get fired because they have an OnlyFans. So even though the work that they're doing is legal, they're still facing the stigma. So really what we want is a full decrim situation. And that's why decrim is better.